All right, guys, I'm down here in East Palestine. As you can see, this flagman sign right here, everything going that way. If you go down there anyway, the only thing you can do is you can drive down the road. If you stop on either side of the road, they'll arrest you. I went down there and they asked me where my badge was. I drove off of the road onto the side. They came up to me asking me where my government badge was. And I told them, I don't know what you're talking about, government badge. I'm out here, I'm on public. They said, nope, you're on, this has been deemed a disaster area, and you have to have a government badge to be on that property at this time. If you don't have a badge, I got a car wash behind me here. That's where all that noise is. But if you don't have the badge, Homeland Security will arrest you. I tried to ask him some questions. They didn't want to answer any questions. I said, there's got to be somewhere we can come down here and get some video. This town right in here, it doesn't look that big, but I'll show you as I go back up through here. But I went down through there, and they was threatening me. They don't want nobody back there recording or doing anything like that. So, and I know back up over the hill here, they've removed. There's a lot of stuff been piled up. It doesn't look like they removed anything. They might have moved it, but it doesn't look like they removed it. I stopped to talk to some people down here before I got up here, and I was asking them, about Joe Biden, and they basically told me, who's that? He's worthless. We don't need him. This is coming back toward town now. But once we get down here, you'll see this ain't just a little town. The tracks are right over here to the right. This is just one street. But I want to show you, it ain't like this is just 400 or 500 people down here, folks. There's a lot of people that live down here. I've been through here hundreds of times, but I just didn't know this was East Palestine when I was coming through it. Because I was just driving through. Get down here around this corner, and this town opens up. I mean, even back up the hill over here. Let's see. Which way did I go here? Okay, probably this way. I mean, this isn't just a small town. Might be to some of you guys, but if you live in New York City, Atlanta, and all that stuff, right here's where I stopped at this gas station, was talking to some people over here. There's the library. This town goes behind me. I'm headed back to the house. This town goes far away, another several miles or a couple of miles behind me. Goes all the way up through here, both sides. This isn't just a little old town, folks. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that's getting screwed by that railroad company. Ain't no doubt about that. Guys can't sell their houses anymore either. Nobody wants to buy them. Look at that big old house, man. Nobody wants to buy them. Nobody wants to live down there and breathe that crap that's in the ground and in the water and drink the water. And nobody wants to deal with it. Guys, if you don't want to watch what I'm saying and you just want to watch the video, I assure you This is the area of the East Palestine train that derailed, and then the government blew that train up. They were too scared to go in and try to fight the fire that they just said, hell with it, we're just going to blow it up. The train did not blow up on its own. It did not. And I believe back when this first happened, I know even Ray from Barricade Garage was asking me, because he knows where I live, what's going on with that train. And I was telling him they blew it up back then. They blew it up. The train did not blow up on its own. The year later, I'm there again a year later at this. Now, people, I've been through East Palestine more times than I can even remember or count. That's how many times I've been through there. Going through East Palestine is, I used to run Uber and Lyfts, and I would go over to Pittsburgh and pick up people and bring them into Ohio and many different places. I've done that for several years, picking up people from airports and taking them places. I've driven through East Palestine many, many, many times. Now, did I know it was called East Palestine? Nope. I didn't even know it. And I'll tell you what, today when I was driving that way, I actually saw this big concrete sign, taller than me, and twice as long as my Jeep. Big sign. First time today I seen it, or that, let's put it like it. First time I really actually realized that it was there. I'm sure I've seen it many times. I've been up and down that road many, many, many times since I've lived up here. I got up this morning and I've been thinking about, I don't know if it was me, Jesus, God, the Holy Spirit, or all three of them, and me. But some been telling me to go to East Palestine. I don't even know why. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, as far as anything on the news or anything, they done, as far as the government and the railroad and everything, they done went in there and cleaned up everything they were supposed to. And they are done with it. And everybody in East Palestine's waiting to find out how much money they're going to make. It's just been some kind of bull crap. So, instead of me going off about what anybody else says, I said it's 15 minutes from here. Or 15 miles, not minutes, sorry. It's a little bit longer than 15 minutes. Especially the way I drive in the hammer lane with my left turn signal on, doing 5 miles an hour under the speed limit, folks. That's what I do in that Jeep. And when I get in my wife's car or a newer car, it's so smooth, and I'll be doing 60 in a 25, and I'm like, in my Jeep, no way, That's why my Jeep keeps me under control, driving down the road. Put me in a Ferrari or something, 120, 150, it doesn't matter. We're just doing it. I don't even, that wasn't even planned in this, folks, at all. It's not in the notes. Old man stuff and the way I used to be. That's why I don't mind driving this thing. It'll do 80 on the interstate. I can do 80 on it, no problem. There ain't no death wobbles or nothing like that. I don't let it do that. But it's still got them big old knobby tires on it. I mean, old man stuff, today, I just slapped my arm over a wrist on these trucks like this. Now, today I got the old man death grip on it. I ain't playing with you. I ain't playing with you, old man death grip. And I'm telling you what, folks, any one of you, even I'd put a 15-year-old girl in there, and I wouldn't be in it with her, but I'd let her do 55 in it. 55 mile an hour in it. I'd get in there. Anybody. You can do 80. That you better have both hands on the wheel. You ain't gonna be, it ain't like driving one of these new cars. Oh no. That's funny. My wife's car, that gray Ford Escape, 1.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder. 2017, we bought that thing brand new. They told me it wouldn't do 100 mile an hour. Not even with the turbo. I blew out both axles and the turbo at 110. So I said, I basically looked at him and said, hey, challenge accepted. No, I didn't. When I did the 110, I did do 110 in it, folks. We still drove the car for 3 months. They told me the turbo and both axles were broke. It was front-wheel drive. Now, how could that be? And we still drove it for 3 or 4 months, maybe longer than that. There was a problem after I hit 110 that didn't go away. You guys think I'm playing with you. I'm not. Now, let's get to a couple of things. The East Palestine thing, man, those people down there, they can't even leave. They can't sell. They can't even sell their houses, man. They had houses that they have invested hundreds, 100,000. Let's just start here. They invested $40,000, $50,000 that they've been working on for 10 years or something. They got this money invested. They can't sell these. Maybe somebody, their property was given to them, spent in their family for 100, 150 years, given. They can't even sell their property for any amount to get out. I'm not saying for any amount yet. These people that own ranches and stuff, there's ranches down there, folks. There's farms. There's downtown. I didn't even show you downtown. I didn't even show you downtown at all. There's downtown. Downtown's like 2 miles from where they blew up that train. If that train wasn't set to be able to deal with a derailment of any kind, those cars that were carrying those chemicals, if they couldn't have handled a derailment, They shouldn't have been on those train tracks. The fact that the government, when they come, those chemicals were on fire and all this, and the firefighters, and this is a fact, folks. Prove me wrong. I know what happened. I 15 miles from this. 15 miles from where this happened. This ain't in another state or anything. They claim the chemicals in the air only made it halfway to my house. Do you think I believe them? The government said that. Do you think I believe them? No. Don't. If you do, you are in error. I'm trying to change my words again, folks, so you guys better keep up. How do I know 15 miles away that I haven't been poisoned? My wife hasn't been poisoned. My daughter hasn't been poisoned by these people. When I drive down there today, over a year, folks, since I've been down through there. Over a year since I've been down through East Palestine. I used to go through there many, many times. These people tell me if you get off the road, the pavement, you're on government land that has been considered a disaster zone. Now, let me tell you something, folks. I've been involved with a lot of disaster zones. I've lived in Florida. I've lived in California. I've lived in so many parts of this country where tornadoes were the disaster zones. Flooding from a hurricane down in Florida and stuff destroyed everything. Out in California, droughts. Arizona, droughts. They claimed there was no water. Had rolling blackouts. Cut your power off in 110, 115 degree temperatures. Cut your power off because they had rolling blackouts. Supposedly caused by nature. Storms. Hurricanes. You know what I'm talking about. This stuff that happened in East Palestine, it was not a hurricane. It was not a thunderstorm with tornadoes and all this stuff involved. It was none of that. Had nothing to do with weather. Had nothing to do with something just spewing up out of the ground like a volcano or natural gas comes spewing up out of the ground and could kill people. No. Had nothing to do with none of that. One thing to do with the fact that the people in control make money off of the things we buy, and they don't care if it kills us. They don't care. They'll put it in your food, everything you drink, doesn't matter. And they'll doggone sure run a train down through your town, even whether it's in the middle of the night. See, folks, I used to drive semis. I had every endorsement that you could have to haul anything, hazardous materials, anything. And anywhere that there's a big city, you don't drive hazardous materials on a train or in a truck or anything right through downtown. Or, well, at least on a truck. I can't say a train because I never drove a train. But at least with trucks, you had hazardous material routes. Now, if these trains are different, have at it. But if those trains are different than the tanks that these hazardous materials are being hauled in, should be nuclear proof. Nuclear. What you clowns claim, sorry, I don't mean to call you clowns anymore, folks. I'm stopping that as well. You people that believe in error, that think you can haul chemicals that can cause this kind of damage to this amount of people on this amount of a hunk of land, water, and everything around it, and even the airflow that is within it. If you think you can haul this kind of stuff and it can do this much damage, that over a year later, I go back through your town or through that town of East Palestine, and the government still has it labeled as a what'd they call it, folks? See my mind. Disaster. A disaster zone. The government, the federal government, still calling it a disaster zone. And if I got off onto that property and stopped or walked up the street, I would be arrested by Homeland Security. I used to do this stuff for fun. As soon as, I'll tell you what, 5-6 years ago, if somebody would have told me that, I'd have been arrested that day. But I'd have had all kinds of videos before they arrested me. But I tried to talk to this guy. This guy runs up on me immediately. There ain't no signs nowhere that says you don't pull in here, government protected property, disaster zone. There ain't no signs up there that says you can't walk down this street here, or there's no edge or anything, folks. Doesn't say any of that. I'm driving down through there. I drive straight through there. Nobody. It looks like a construction zone. And it looks like I'm driving out into an area that I wasn't going to be able to get any video. Well, I went down there to get videos. I turn around, come back through, pull over in an area, a big old dirted area. Looks like many people been tracking packed down, almost like concrete, but it was dirt. And all I did was I whipped off the road to see if I could just jump out and maybe take a quick video or something of what was going on there. Now, in my Jeep, I whip off the road. I'm trying to find a spot that makes sure I'm not in anybody's way. I was going to pull right up into this grassy area, or not grass, but it was all packed down dirt where people have been parking and stuff. I was going to pull up there and just jump out and take a quick. I pulled off the road as I went in. All of a sudden, I'm hearing horns, and I'm looking around. Somebody's honking a horn. I can't see nobody. Somebody jumps out of his car, and he's throwing on this yellow vest, and he's running over it. Where's your government badge? Where's your government badge? And I'm going, I got my window down. I rolled my window down. He was rolling up, and I wanted to hear him. He's going, Where's your government badge? And I'm going, what do you mean government badge? I'm just driving down this road here. He's going, this badge. And he ripped his badge up off. He had it hanging around his neck. I'm going, well, I don't have one of them. I said, what are you talking about, man? I'm just driving down the road. I came down through here. I pulled over to see, and I was going to pull up in there. I was going to park and do my thing. And he was like, well, you're being asked to leave government property right now. And if you don't leave, Homeland Security will be the next ones to pull up. And now he worked for the railroad. He was security for the railroad. They didn't only have security for the railroad folks. They had the, they had the security, Homeland Security. They had the Secret Service, and they also had the Space Police. Along with, I saw at least, they couldn't have been nothing more than bouncers. I mean, they had everything covered down through there. So I was like, all right, I'm sitting in my Jeep. I just pulled off, and it's honking, people running up on, and I rolled my window down to talk to them, and I'm like, you know, well, after the event, because of the event, this is all government property. And I said, what do you mean vent? I'm thinking they're going to tell me, oh, well, Joe Biden's coming down. No, he says, no, since this happened, the government has taken over all this land in this city, in the town of East Palestine. The government has taken over this land. You're not allowed on it. If you get on it without a badge, Homeland Security arrests you, take you to jail. So I'm trying to ask this guy. I told him, all right, I'll leave. So I'm trying to, hey, where's a guy can go? I want to take some videos of what you guys are doing. So where can I go? Well, they got cameras up everywhere, he tells me. They got cameras up everywhere around there. If you don't like those, just watch the news. I said, well, see, you don't understand. I have several YouTube channels, and I put up my own videos. That way I don't have to use anybody else's stuff. I use my stuff. He goes, well, if you can find someone, you can't walk down this road. And you can't pull off of this road. The road itself is public. Anything dirt is government owned. So you can't go down the road somewhere and park and walk up the road, because if you walk up the road, then the police department or the sheriff's department will come and arrest you for walking up the road, videotaping what they're doing. So I asked the guy, well, I thought we were in America. Since we are in America. And I said, oh, well, I thought I had the right to be able to watch and see what you guys are doing. You're the government, right? I thought I had the right to do this. And what, I ought to be able to watch you guys. You shouldn't I? He didn't have nothing to say to that. And he goes, well, that's my supervisor sitting over there in that pickup, and he's probably already got him on the phone. So I suggest, if you don't want to be arrested for trespassing, you get back out on public land. And I told him, and I know this to be a fact, every public road, I don't care if it's a 2-lane road. If it's a 2-lane road, 15 feet from the center of that road is public. If there isn't a sidewalk, it doesn't matter. I threw that at the guy. So, well, if you just want to, I said, man, I'm just trying to get some videos of what you guys are doing down there. I ain't trying to argue. I'm just trying to do something I'm doing. I'm minding my own business. You're trying to stop me. And he said, well, I don't even remember what he said after that. But he said something about, if you don't just go ahead and get up, you've already been asked to leave. And I said, you're right. You asked me to leave. I'm leaving. I am, because I know I'm being recorded. And audio at least. And I said, and I'm leaving. I ain't here to cause no trouble. But I said, I thought I was an American. I had freedoms. And this certainly isn't America today.